first of all, my first question to everybody so far has been, what intrigued you about our program? What sort of sparked your interest about DYW and you made you say, I want to do that, I can do that, and sort of got you excited about it?
I think it's a little bit of like serendipity in it. I don't know. Because the first I had no clue about the program until I think about the November before our local. And I found out about it through an untitled Word document of scholarship opportunities from a graduated senior at our literary
Wow.
program. So it was like very like, oh, I'm just looking through this. We'll see if I find anything that catches my eye. And when I saw the name Distinguished Young Woman in the doc, I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is something I haven't seen before because I've not been familiar with these types of scholarship programs before in the past. And then when I looked at the website, because I was like, okay, let me check out what this is about. It says scholarship. I don't know what it means when it says like there's three different categories. So then when I looked at the categories, what kind of piqued my interest was the fact that I've never really seen a competition with categories based on like self-expression. Maybe you've seen talent, but like self-expression interview, I was kind of curious initially, like, how do you judge that? How does that work? And like, how does a competition like that like function? So seeing that just wasn't something I'd seen before. So I was like, maybe I'll try it. And mostly it was like throughout this whole process, it was me. I wasn't necessarily sure, like, oh, yes, I'm definitely going to be able to do this. I'm definitely going to be able to do well in this. I was just like, I'll see what happens. I'll try it, I'll see, and hope that it goes well. And I can't say that that's let me down so far. So
And look at you now.
yeah, really,
That's
but
so
yeah.
cool. And yes, serendipitous is a good word for that because, we want to put this program in schools and get the word out there, get the message out there about what DIW is and how people can benefit from it. And so that just goes to show you that it's not so widespread. It's the of what we are in these schools, and we need to do better at getting that in there. And so I think what I'm hoping out of these conversations is sort of this insight and maybe ideas and how we can do that, how we can sort of create that common knowledge of what distinguished young woman is. Um, so I love that. I mean, that really gives me a little bit more insight because it's like, well, I guess we're not as widespread as I thought we were, and as well known and far reached. So that really gives us a starting point to say, well, this is what we need to do to get this in the minds of more people. Um, so now that you are the DYW of Maryland, what does that mean to you? What are you hoping out of this newfound title, or what are you hoping to do with it and see with it and explore with it?
I'm hoping to push my boundaries, I think, or like the boundaries that I've had for myself in the past in terms of getting to know people and getting like the opportunity to be in spaces where I engage in community and where I can truly say that I'm here for the people that I'm with. Um, I think like reflecting after the state program, I'm still astonished that like, oh, I am the DYW of Maryland right now because every day it feels like I'm broadened with more knowledge of the people and the peers that I have in this current day and age. They're astonishing. Every single one of them, every single girl I met at the program, I was so delighted, like inspired by, and seeing that in a space of community between people who are one dedicated to a future, dedicated to enacting a future that they can tangibly hold. No matter what, that's beautiful. And I know that it manifests within every pocket of community. And so now I just find myself wanting to seek it out more. And I think having had this experience so far and what I'm looking towards in the future is to really push the boundaries with that every step we take, we enact our future further. It's closer to us. And when we do it together, it's that much better. So,
Yeah, that's beautiful. And um, I think it really, I think you're inspiring a lot of people with those words and with that because sometimes people think it's out of reach and it's not tangible for them. It's not something that they can even imagine themselves doing, but they're hearing from you and the other girls that I'm talking to, and they're seeing, wait, Adebola can do it. I can do it. and kind of being that inspiration and that starting line for somebody's future. And so it really gives people inspiration and encouragement that they're not alone in this, and that it really is a sisterhood bond. I mean, I did the program when I was a junior in high school. It was junior miss then. But aside from the local program, I had no knowledge really of everything that went on at the national level. So you're going to get to experience that, and even the state level, because again, I just did the local program. So seeing the growth and the development in just the few months that I've had this position, it's been so eye-opening, and hearing from y'all, you're so intelligent, and you're in such great company when you compete with these other girls. Um, and I know it's got to be so hard to even sometimes see yourself in this realm, but you deserve it, and other girls just like you deserve it, and it's so cool to see how you've sort of gotten to this part. So lead me up to this part of your life. You're in your senior year of high school. Lead me up to what gives you motivation and encouragement every single day, and why you think, why you want to have a brighter future. What sort of, just walk me through your life, I guess, up until this point.
Um, okay. Life has gone a lot of ways. It's really hard to like think about it even now. I'm 17. It's not like I've had that much to live, but
Right.
I think I've had a very, I guess, okay, the earlier parts of my life, my family traveled a lot because we're a military family. So I don't know why, but that's like deeply enacted me to my core. Somehow, like my sense of home, my sense of belonging is a little bit different, I think. It is founded mostly on the people that I'm with. I don't have the greatest attachment to like this is where I'm home, this is where I'm focus where I'm localized, but I find that it's really easy to connect with people and that I see a lot of different people and I always find something that I can appreciate, something that I'm happy about. So I think leading with that, like, okay, that's the earlier parts of my life. I think that I've always been founded on that. That's a big part of who I am. But like more specifically leading up to who I am now and like what pushes me to go, I don't know why, but this is a jump. Right now, I've been really like every once in a while, every few hours, I swear. The quote from a Lucille Clifton poem, "Won't you celebrate with me?" comes to mind all the time. And it's, who did I see to be except myself? And I just think it is the most beautiful thing right now. And I think that at this point in my life, I am so focused and so intentioned right now on understanding what the internal drives are. The internal drives are community, their creativity, their a care for the people that I come from, for the people that I'm with. And I think no matter what, that's what's like barreling me forward. Like yeah. Oh, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Um,
You're okay. I mean, that's a great answer. I'm not looking for anything serious or anything. I'm curious what, has helped you develop this sort of, I don't know if environment's the right word, but mentality maybe, of what helps you create this sort of mentality to keep trudging on and not to give up on yourself at such a young age.
I think it's the investment of the people like who put so much into letting me be able to be educated, letting me have the opportunity to have experiences that I will always treasure, experiences like DYW, experiences like being in a literary program at my high school, experiences like, being with other kids, having the time, having the privilege, having the opportunity every day to do what I want, to focus on what I want to learn what I wish no matter what, it's always uplifted me. It's always given me the space and the honor for myself to deal with what I want. Or like what I want for the future, what I want to see going forward. And it gives me a lot of space to reflect in on myself and to have that second, to have that breath to think, that breath to move, and to use it purposefully and intentionally. So
Yeah, that's awesome. So with your newfound title, is there anything that you're hoping to achieve with it? Hope any people you're hoping to reach with? a specific message or anything like that?
I think I would most definitely want to reach out mostly to, because I live very close to Baltimore City. I live in the suburbs of Baltimore City. I feel like it would be really nice to reach at least students in the city because at least coming from the county, currently I feel like I am witnessing a lot of like divestment from education or from supplementing youth sometimes. And no matter what, that's always the hand that you want to reach out to, especially as someone growing up. I've had so many privileges and opportunities that I know people can't have because of situations that are outside of their control. No matter what, I think it's always most important to look to everyone who doesn't have what you do and to reassess, why do I have what I have? Why don't you? And how can I share that? How can we facilitate a new wave or a new way for things to shift around? So if I can, I really do want to reach out to students in the city and just generally in the county too, because honestly, no matter what, education, our community investments and our like extracurricular like connections and points of connection, they are what make a student's life. They're what bring the next generation. They're what inform our political reality, our environmental reality, our chemical research, our, you know, business reality. Every single part of our lives right now are being invested in youth. And I feel like I keep on hearing from intellectuals, thinkers. This is like going back to the 1970s to James Baldwin, who always talks about the investment we make in our children and the investment that we make in the future while doing the same thing.
Yeah, you're so full of wisdom, Adebola, at such a young age, and that's why I think I was curious to know like where you get this, motivation every single day, to keep going and the encouragement, and you want to instill that in those who are younger than you or those who are less fortunate than you, and it's so admirable. Because a lot of people don't think that they're really self-centered and they're focusing on themselves and what they can do to, better themselves and not really better the community or the world. So it's really inspiring to hear such a young girl have such big thoughts and big dreams and big aspirations. So kudos to you for doing that and keeping it up and um, understanding your surroundings enough to where you know what's going on in your community. And I think that's a really good place to start is right there in your community. And one of the reasons that DYW is in existence is so that we can provide scholarships to girls who may not otherwise have a chance to go to school because of the funding. And we're so thankful for our sponsors because that's how we get that funding and how we can let this program continue to be free for the participants. So uh, this year we're starting this sort of initiative of ripple effect, and how one small gesture can make such a big difference in somebody's life. And um, this one conversation can make such a big difference in somebody who looks up to you because they see you doing it and you're imagining themselves doing it. But this is, in the grand scheme of things, a really small thing. And beyond that, our volunteers and how one person volunteering for a local program is the only reason that that local program was able to even, happen. Um, and then for, of course, our sponsors, how one small donation really, really adds up in the long run for these scholarships to be invested into the futures of these girls. And so my question is, what do you have any suggestions or ideas for how we can make sure um, we are getting this message out to more people and how we can improve in any way on spreading the message that we are a great program to be a part of and that how we want to continue for we're on year 68 more years and even beyond that. Do you have any sort of um, ideas or anything like that to get this message out there?
Mhm. I think it's also super big on the like each one teach one mentality because like one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. It's the basics of story. But anyway, I think something to really emphasize is the community that you have at like it's not like a little pod, but the little like mini universe that grows out of being in a group of one of like with one goal, with one idea, but with many different ideas, one goal, one place, and what happens there. I think maybe focusing on experiences kind of gets people to be like, oh, what is the experience that we're talking about? Um, because I think something also that really drew me in when I was like evaluating when I first looked at it, the program was when I went online, I searched up anything and everything I could find of other girls who'd done the program talking about, I did this. This is what I experienced here. That was always the first like eye catcher that, oh, this is someone else. This is someone who I can see. This is someone who, isn't necessarily like, this is the way the program works. This is how I lived it. I think maybe things that just experience and highlight it or that highlight the experience, I think that would work best. But to be more specific about that, I think it's like because I know that reels appeal and they grow very popularly in like social media. I think social media is like always the end all be all when it comes to getting things out,
Right.
to spreading messages. But reels are big. Reels are like somehow I don't know what happens. Like, well, yeah, it's like the way media literacy's changed over years, which is a little bit disheartening sometimes that we don't necessarily pay attention to longer text or longer
I was just
testimonials.
about to say, yeah, my attention span has really shortened over the time of social media. So yeah, I get it.
It's a little bit disheartening, but definitely like Reels short form content, it feels a little bit soul sucking, but for getting out a message, I think that's most effective sometimes. I don't know. Or like in terms of specification, do you want maybe an idea of something that like is a specific initiative, like you'll do this at this time, or like have these people do this, or like more broad or like general? Because that's what I was saying, but I don't
Sure.
know.
Yeah. Any, all of the above, really. I mean, I really just want to get the message across in the most clear and concise way of how one small gesture can really make a big difference. So, however we get that message across, great.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I think to your point about social media, that's sort of why I'm doing these and I'm posting them on social media to hopefully gain some of those new or in question participants who may say, and they a lot of times, oftentimes we hear, oh, that's a pageant. I don't want to do a pageant. I'm not a pageant girl. And so we want to negate that and sort of make it more appealing to people.
I think
So
so.
really just explaining who we are, what we do, and how you can be benefited by the program in multiple ways. I think every conversation I've had, every girl has said, it's not about winning, it's about the relationships that I've built with these girls. And now that you're going to the national level, you're going to meet a girl from every single state in the country, which is something nobody can really say. Um, and you're going to get to see and develop these relationships. And maybe one day down the road, you're going to need your friend that you met in Washington that you would have never even met without this program. And so I think we just want to make sure that that's the message that we're getting across. And on top of that, it's free to join. You don't have to cough up so much money and all these dresses and makeup and agents and all of that. And you can really, it's a really, I don't want to say isolated because again, it's such a big group of people, but um, you're not so dependent, I guess, on somebody else making your dreams come true. It's really you're in charge of that. And I think that's so empowering. On top of that, we have that
Platform?
platform. That's a good one. Of Be Your Best Self. And I think it helps people sort of stick to those goals and stick to, or maybe challenging themselves of maybe I'm not so healthy. I'm eating too many cookies this month. How can I be better at being healthy? Or maybe, I'm haven't been so ambitious about trying to do this. I can do better at that. How do you strive to be your best self every day?
I strive to be my best self by thinking everything that's happening right now is all I have.
Yep.
that every moment past is gone and I can only do what I can do with what I have. No matter what mistakes I've made, no matter what I've regretted, I have right now. That's my chance, that's my opportunity, and that a change will come only when I decide to make the change, only when I'm intentional. And if there's a mistake while enacting change, that's still change. It's still a step. And I think among all things, that every single thing you do is worth something. Whether like I'm a gymnast, so I take a lot of really bad turns. I have a lot of really bad days, and every single one of them I've reminded myself, this is progress. This too is part of my fight to get to the future. And if I didn't have this bad day, I wouldn't have my good ones either. So no
And you
matter
wouldn't know
what,
how to appreciate them, which is
yes.
another message in itself. Um, yeah, that's incredible. And speaking of being a gymnast, that was your talent, correct, at
Yes.
state? Are you going to try to do that again for nationals, or are we going to switch it up?
I definitely want to try to do it again because I love gymnastics. It's so
Yeah.
much fun. Playing around with it, trying to see what might work, what might work, what might not work. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
that's
that's what you got to do. That's what it's all about.
definitely acro still. I love doing acro. Actually.
Very, very cool. Well, I mean, that's really all I have. I think wrapping up here, if there was some advice or words of encouragement that you want to give to somebody who may be struggling to take the leap and join DYW, or even just in general, taking the leap in something that they are wanting to do, but they just are too afraid to give it a try.
Mm.
Do you have any words of encouragement for them?
I think my encouragement would be you're in control. No matter what, you're in control. You know what you want. You can observe. You can think. You have autonomy over yourself. You are with full agency. And you can go into a space, be intentioned, and good things will happen no matter what. You can trust yourself. You don't need to be hesitant. You don't need to be worried that you'll find yourself too far gone in something that you might not like, because no matter what, you have people there who are willing to hear you out, to support you, and to know that either way, you're still your individual self. You'll be respected and honored. Um, Specifically going into DYW, like I was so nervous because I'm a very anxious person in general. But the moment that you're there, you realize, you have the realization that the people who are around you are so willing to reach out, to be open, and like it is like the I always read about there is like a soft aggression to feminine love and understanding and companionship, and that is so well manifested in DYW that no matter what, people will be fighting to care for you. And it's so heartening to see. And in terms of advice and like being apprehensive overall, think, take your moment and move. Because the worst thing you could do is stay apprehensive, is to stay stagnant. A change can come, and you're the one who's in power and in control of it. So,
Amen, sister. Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I know the people that are going to watch this video are going to take that same message away. Um, I think that's all I have for you. Is there anything else that you want to add or say or mention that is on your mind or anything like that?
um, well, personally, just like I love all the people that I've met out of the state program. Thank you, Miss Anna. Thank you so much, Miss Nicole. Thank you, Emily. Thank you. Oh my gosh, everyone, everyone. Thank you, Lily. Like, thank you, Faith. Like every single person at our program is amazing. I just want to say that, like, for real,
Yeah.
I cannot love these people more.
I mean, and
Even
that's
if
another testament to who you're meeting and the relationships that you're building through this program, which you couldn't have done otherwise. Um,
100%.
and it's gonna be even bigger when you come here in June.
Yes.
It's gonna be here before you know it. So enjoy your senior year. Take it for all it's worth. Make good grades, all the good stuff, but have fun too. And we are so excited to see you in June.